Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Hey Sara Sara. My name is Siley Raja, and I'll be your host. Hey Sara Sara is a multidisciplinary podcast where I sit down with students, founders, creators, and changemakers to explore the stories, passions, and ideas behind what they do. Today, we're joined by the team behind Project Aspire, which stands for the Association for South Indian Potential Inclusivity and Resource Empowerment. Project Aspire is a student-led initiative dedicated to raising awareness about learning disabilities and mental health challenges within South Asian communities. Through seminars, advocacy, and community outreach, they're working to create a future where young people feel seen, supported, and empowered to seek the help they deserve. Most recently, they've launched a campaign to raise funds for sensory goodie bags filled with fidget toys, community resources, and support materials that will be distributed to places like the Dell Children's Hospital, shelters, and the Ronald McDonald House. Today, we'll be talking about Project Aspire, mental health advocacy, and what it's like building an initiative aimed at breaking long-standing stigmas. We're so excited to have you here. Welcome to the podcast, guys.
Hi.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah,
Of
pretty
course.
awesome.
Okay, so before we dive into Project Aspire, can each of you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about who you guys are?
So my name's Ishika Jha, and I'm gonna be a senior at McNeil High School. And I was really always passionate about public speaking and change. I'm also part of my school speech and debate team. And I just some stuff about me is that I love to I have some passions that are like drawing, sketching. I love those things. And essentially, yeah, that's just a little bit about me.
Okay, I can go next. My name is Nikhil Sridharan. I'm also a rising senior at McNeil High School. And just like Ishika, I'm also on the speech and debate team. And a fun fact, I'm actually in Virginia right now because I was at like a nationals for speech and debate. So that's why the background is a little iffy. But yeah.
Perfect. All right. So my name is Suhani and I'm a rising junior also at McNeil High School. And what I like to do in my free time is I like to build Legos and be productive. Yeah.
All right.
Okay, great. So let's start at the beginning. What inspired you guys to create Project Aspire, and why was this an issue you felt strongly about addressing?
So essentially, we did like haven't like we were always like knowing about the history of people who grow up with neurodiverse disorders in India, especially. They weren't treated well. They felt not seen, not heard. They were almost like they were invisible. You could only notice them if you read between the lines whenever you go to India. And that's what I sometimes did notice every time I traveled to India. I'd have to look in the small corners or anything like that. And so we decided to start this organization to combat this cause because I think right now, especially in the modern world, it's time for people to know that they can be seen and they can be heard. And especially with the history of like people who got killed because they were born with a neurodiverse disorder, it's too it's too recent to be able to do this, especially in today's world. So
Just to add on to that, so a reason that we came up with this organization is for me and Nikhil, we were part of our school's like seminar, AP seminar class, and there we did a project on somatization in South Asian culture, which is essentially when mental health problems are so procrastinated to act, like people don't act upon them to the point where they become physical symptoms. So, like branching off of that, we kind of broadened it out from mental health to people with IDD, which is neurodevelopmental disorders. And a personal example I have is, for example, like this is really small, but this just kind of shows the mindset behind South Asians. Even today, even in America in 2026, it's when I was telling my own mom, I was like, I think I might have undiagnosed ADHD because I can't concentrate that well. And she was like, you don't have ADHD. Like those are just like American hoaxes. Like you don't like have that. Like that's not a real thing. Like people in India are completely fine when they don't get diagnosed with it. And so that just kind of shows how like a lot of parents, especially people of the older generation, even our generation, just never get diagnosed because their parents or like their family or their cultural background just refuses to acknowledge that these issues even exist.
Okay, great. So for someone hearing about Project Aspire for the first time, what's the elevator pitch?
Our elevator pitch is essentially just about like spreading awareness and breaking the stigma around people with IDD or neurodevelopmental disorders or special needs. It's essentially like an organization that aims to partner with bigger organizations and kind of challenge this assumption because even when you go look out into the world with organizations that already exist, because special needs organizations aren't that really uncommon, but when you go and look out to them, you'll see that a lot of the people who are served in these organizations are like essentially white. Like they don't serve a lot of minorities because they don't know this exists. So just about Project Aspire is that we aim to bring attention to this and have more people essentially get the resources that they need to combat this disorder.
And so like the actual like elevator spit pitch that will be like, hey, like welcome to Project Aspire, take a guess at like what we do, and then we do a whole spiel about like the history because it's important for people to know about the history in order for them to focus on the future. And I think that's a really important thing that people don't understand because people can work in all kinds of nonprofits, but the exigence of why people have started this nonprofit needs to be known, especially to people who want to volunteer, join the organization, and make a difference.
I love that. Okay, so mental health and learning disabilities can still be difficult topics to discuss in many communities, right? So, why do you think these conversations have historically been avoided, and how do you hope our generation can change that?
I think that's like a really good question. It's hard to pinpoint like an exact point in time of why there was a stigma surrounding people. I think it was the pressure of always being able to fit in because in India it's a strict order. You be born. Wait, one sec. You are birthed. You are birthed. You study and you study more and then you become successful. And that's like the usual order that people work in India and then they go to work. And so I think when there's an obstacle in that way, people are tend to be like it's fine, just move past it, but especially when it comes like to a psychological or a neurological disorder, it's hard to break around those stigma, so that's essentially the reason.
Yeah, and I also think just like tag on to that, in Indian culture especially, they're more family oriented. They focus more on the actual whole image of a family instead of the individual itself. And so having people or in their family that essentially are like have a mental health disorder and something like that can definitely impact their perception to other people. And so that's why families fail to acknowledge um, specific family members that might not or like suffer from mental health disorders essentially. It's something to do with definitely weakness and also just kind of fear that they're going to be judged by other people, especially in Indian culture where being judged by people is such a hard thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. So, I'd love to hear more about your current campaign. So, what inspired the idea of creating sensory goodie bags, and what do you hope they'll provide for the people receiving them?
So the goal essentially for like for example like it's one of our like newest campaigns, and so the goal of this is to spread it out to like have the most amount of outreach where like a lot of people can sort of like be aware about this mission. And one of the only ways that you can do that is if you it's something tangible that you can give to people. And so we started doing this like sensory goodie bag kind of initiative because though it's like a very small product, it's going to be a very small sort of gesture. It's like it can be like a lot of people can reach it and access it. Is if we make like 500 or like if we give these community resources to these people, they can open them, they can kind of see that they're not alone. And especially when we're planning to add like community resources like a small bookmark or something in the goodie bag, so that shows them that there are places that they can reach out because once again, a lot of people don't know like where to go. They don't even know many of these nonprofits exist or they're too scared to actually reach out to them. So the goal of this campaign is essentially just to reach out to a lot of people, make sure that they know that organizations like our exist and that they're not alone and they can come and sort of have this like they can even volunteer or like they can be part of a client who's being served by us.
I think also it's a great way for people to understand that, especially South Asians battling mental health disorders, they're not much different than like average normal people essentially. So I mean recently fidgets have been like a huge craze around the internet, and I think what it's really important that we emphasize that these tools are used to help regulate emotions, especially for people battling mental health disorders. And so it's something that, you don't have to be like scared to approach. It's something that everyone battles. Fidget toys are something that everyone loves to use. So um, people that are battling mental health disorders are not different from us. They might need extra help, they might need extra support, something like that.
Okay, great. So you guys are also hosting a sale featuring Indian-inspired ice cream flavors, which I think is a really creative idea. So how did that concept come about?
So I think that I when we were on the call, like me and Ishika, because we like obviously Nikhil had Nats or like national speech and debate. So we were thinking like, hey, like we could just like do a bake sale because we do need some fundraising to back up like all the campaigns that we're about to launch, which is our most recent one being the fidget toy one. So we decided that we should do something different than bake sale. Like obviously we can do like brownies and cupcakes, but we were thinking something that relates to our organization and the community that it's catered to. So when we are tailored to like South Asian communities, we want to do something that gives off our culture and why we battle this cause and why we're trying to make an impact. That's why we did do like an Indian twist. And then from there on, we watched some recipes, and it's going to go like around Sunday, June 28th is going to be our bake sale at Morningside Park.
Yeah. And that's a great point. Another reason that we chose to do like Indian inspired ice cream flavors is also logistics. It's that when you already have a lot of stores, a lot of places where you can access like normal brownies, normal cookies, like chocolate chip cookies, vanilla. But then we wanted to have like a twist. Like, why would people sort of buy from us? It was sort of like a business kind of viewpoint to it as well. So it was that we need to make something that's unique to the market where they can't access it to everywhere else. And it's just essentially like a sort of unique perspective on like again fusion ice cream dishes, right? It's like it sort of kind of emphasizes our cultural identity, or many of the people who are like living in America sort of like immigrated here. It's like you have your Indian like fusion side, and then you also have like your chocolate chip vanilla cookie base. So essentially it's like it's just representing like a uniqueness to it, is like also tying to your cultural roots essentially.
Okay, great. And you guys recently hosted your first seminar and invited a guest speaker from UT Austin. So what was it like seeing people show up and engage with a cause that means so much to y'all?
Yeah, it felt really incredible to have people come and actually support like our mission, especially having a UT guest was really great. They're a high school relations person on for UT Thon, which is another organization at UT that kind of spreads awareness and raises funds for children battling cancer. And just other mental conditions, stuff like that. So this was a great opportunity for us to connect with this person. They were able to spread their cause, but also kind of see what we were doing and how this kind of is the subsection of what they are focusing on. So it was really great to have that. And then for everyone that attended, thank you so much. Like it was really great to have them and just be more informed about the situation. We definitely got people that were interested in volunteering. So this was great.
Okay, great. So we're gonna go into our fun segment next. So since there are three of you, we have to ask who's the planner, who's the procrastinator, and who's the person always coming up with new ideas?
Okay, I think Ishika is the person coming up with the new ideas. Oh no, the planning. I think she's the planner.
I agree. I would agree with that. I honestly think I might be the procrastinator right now, but I don't know. I've been kind of out of the loop because I've been on vacation. So I don't know.
You know what? In our heart, we're all procrastinators, but we're overcoming that. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I'm gonna say.
We
Yeah.
made it a really big emphasis to, like get our work done. We've held each other accountable, and we keep like
Yes.
texts every single day to get stuff done for this because we want to make something big out of this. So
Yeah, I
Yeah.
we're
think
trying to
yesterday
prevent
I like texted
procrastination.
Nikhil like a such a long paragraph. Wait, how, it was
Yeah,
so long. Wait, like
it
I don't know.
was. I
It
can.
was, yeah.
I don't know if I
It,
can
I was
show
like,
this, but it was so long, and I was like, okay. And I was only gone for like at that time it'd been like a week and a half, and they had gotten so much done. It's like, wow. It's
Yeah.
really inspiring how much we've changed since the beginning of this
No, yeah.
organization, essentially.
No, I would say I could be kind of annoying with how much I'm like texting and I'm
Yeah,
like, this
I
needs to be
agree.
done.
Oh.
Okay, but like
But it's
I'm
good.
just
It's
like,
good to have someone. It's
yeah,
really
it's
great
like
at taking
I
initiative.
yeah, I'm trying to hold all of us accountable so we can get this done like as like soon as we could like make it big because that's like our goal, right? Is to like have a lot of outreach like extremely soon. So that's why I'm like, okay, we need to do this, this, and this. And yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Completely understandable. Okay.
I
And
know that didn't really answer your question, but yeah, we're just kind of avoiding it. But yeah, there we go.
that's okay. That's okay. Okay. And if Project Aspire could collaborate with any organization, person, or nonprofit in the world, who would it be?
In the world? Whoa. Uh, Okay, I think right now we don't like okay, so with the start of our planning, we did do like a base of every single nonprofit that correlates with our mission, and we reached out to all of them. Thankfully, one of the ARC of Central area did get back to us, and that is something they provided us with so many opportunities. So we're also launching a volunteer program coming soon, but that was unrelated. But I think in the world, we would do an international organization. But as of right now, we're taking small steps, doing the ARC of Central area, then maybe some of Seva International, more Hindu faith-based organization. But yeah, I don't know off the top of my head, but any international organization, maybe even organizations in India, there's a lot of them actually. And if we could like maybe go on a trip there and like collaborate with them, but that's all in the future.
Yeah. There is one I was looking at, which is the National Centers of Learning Disabilities, which is like it's probably the biggest nonprofit for special needs individuals in the United States. And so if we could partner with them, that would of course be great because of the outreach that they have to like multiple cities in the United States.
And also, I don't know if you remember, but when we were talking about the seminar, in our paper, we focused on this organization that like provided workshops in New York
Mhm.
for, South
Yeah.
Asian
Yep.
individuals.
Yeah.
Okay. And looking ahead, where do you hope Project Aspire will be in the next few years?
International. We want to go global, honestly, but I
We
mean, small steps.
yep. Yeah. I mean, in the next few years, of course, the goal is to just be as widespread possible. Like as Nikhil was saying,
Villages in India and something like that. Just have that actual connection instead of just
yeah,
advocating here in the
yeah, do
US. It'd be
something
great
for
to
them. Yeah,
actually reach out and partner with organizations like Suhani.
Yeah, I think that is going to be there in the near future. We hopefully open some chapters all over the nation maybe and then even launch some kind of program where we make direct impact to individuals in India maybe because I go to India almost like every year, so if there's something I can do on my part, I'll definitely be able to do it.
I love that. Okay, and if there's a student
yeah.
listening who wants to advocate for a topic that is often considered uncomfortable or stigmatized, what advice would you give them?
Honestly, my best advice is honestly just to go for it because we've literally experienced that same thing. South Asian mental health disorders is not something that people tend to want to talk about, but it's really great to just go for it, get like spread awareness about it, hold seminars like we did, just focused on education more than anything else, and don't be scared to like get rejected or get people not essentially agreeing with what you're doing because it is really great to educate them, even if it goes against tradition.
Yeah, and I feel like, like
Yeah.
just the singular piece of advice that I would give to someone is YOLO, because you only live once. 20 years fast forward, you're gonna be like, bro, I should have done that, man. It would have been so big and I could have like handled it, taken over. I could have done that for my job. It could have made such an impact. I would probably got the Nobel Peace Prize, but then you're just sitting at home and be like, YOLO.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if anyone wants to reach out to you guys to support or volunteer, where can they reach out?
Yeah, so we have our email where they can always email us for any questions, which is projectaspire9@gmail.com. We also have our Insta, which is a really easy way to kind of see what we're about, which is Project Aspire at Project Aspire underscore on Instagram. And we just launched our website, which is projectaspire.it.com. So if anyone puts that into their search bar, they should be able to access our website. It's also linked on our Instagram. So that's a great way to contact us. We have multiple forms for contacting, and we're also about to like reach out and make those volunteer applications and chapter opening applications. So that's a great way to contact us as well.
And like one thing I want to say is like kudos to you for being able to like come out and reach out to a nonprofit. Like you deserve that. You can come over and we have just launched our volunteer program. So we are going to be reaching out to every follower who's following us, giving them an insight to what they're doing and leading the path of our program. So yeah, thank you for those people who are interested. And yeah, all the website, all the Instagram probably will be posted. Maybe some probably under the I don't know where it'd be posted. You can take that.
Okay, we'll
Um,
put it up for the viewers at the end so they can go and check it out. Okay,
Thanks.
thank you so
Appreciate it.
much for joining us today, guys, and sharing your story. It's been a pleasure learning more about your journey starting Project Aspire, your passions, and the work you're doing to make a difference. And to everyone listening, thank you for tuning in. We'll see you in the next episode.
Wow, bye. See ya later.